The Alola victory was not what it seemed. A hidden scandal almost stripped Ash of his title before the final battle even began. I am exposing the secret evidence that proves they never wanted him to win. You must stick until the end to see the official leak that changes this entire story. This is the truth they hid. The Alola League wasn't just another tournament. It was chaos wrapped in sunlight, swagger, and straight-up madness. Ash lands on that island stadium like a man who's been starving for this moment his whole life. The kid's eyes were glowing. You could practically hear the bell ring before a single Pokeball hit the floor. His friends? They're mingling, laughing, soaking in the vibes. But behind the shadows, Team Skull lurks, itching to wreck the whole show. Why? Because their boss Guzma breathes hate like oxygen. If hating was a college degree, this man graduated summa cum laude. Dude even rivals the OG villains in consistency. You gotta put respect on that level of petty. The introductions roll, rivals step up, and then comes the Guzma lore drop. Man couldn't keep pace with Hala's discipline, threw tantrums when Kukui excelled, and dipped like a spoiled prodigy. Imagine storming off because you couldn't finish practice drills. That's Guzma. But his grudge makes him dangerous, and suddenly it's not just about winning the league. It's about keeping the whole event from getting burned down by this bitter dropout. Then the curveball. Preliminaries? They're battle royales. Everyone. All at once. The battlefield turns into a gladiator pit. Pikachu's frying stoneheads in one shot, knocking out arachnids like it's Tuesday, and even redirecting enemy fire back into their own teammates. That's why he's the chosen one, the literal GOAT. Meanwhile, side characters are stealing moments. Mallow and Lana tag team a triple knockout. Sophocles surprises everyone, and Rowlet somehow refuses to die. After the dust clears, the final 16 are crowned. And let's be real, half of them making it that far is pure anime miracle logic. The one-on-ones fly by Melton gets distracted, but still claps with Flash Cannon. Guzma throws shade at pretty boy trainers, while Golisopod shows he's actually lethal. Jesse and James fight each other. Of course they do. Raichu fries Executor, Lana and Mallow battle like dramatic besties, and Sophocles stumbles into relevance. But then comes Ash versus Hau and Rowlet. What starts silly gets wild fast. Ash drops his Z-move too early. Hau counters with his own. Rowlet nearly gets KO'd, but wakes up because apparently, the bird just fell asleep mid-battle. Bro, what? The referees practically needed instant replay to prove he was still conscious. And when he shakes off Spirit Shackle with Feather Dance and ends it with Brave Bird. That's anime insanity in HD. The bracket tightens. Friendships tested. Kia crushes Sophocles, Guzma slams Lana, and the semifinals lock in Kia versus Gladion, Ash versus Guzma. Gladion's Wolf beats down Kia's firepower, but the real scandal? Silvally swapping types mid-match, like it was an Uno reverse card. The crowd cheers instead of calling foul. It's pure favoritism disguised as hype. Then Ash meets Guzma. The tension's thick, Golisopod storms out, slaps Torracat around, and even betrays Guzma mid-fight by abandoning him. Ash's Pikachu steps up, weaving around attacks like prime Derrick Rose in sneakers. Guzma, desperate, tries psychological warfare, gaslighting Ash to quit before losing. Wrong move. Ash doesn't fold, never has, never will. After a flurry of counters, Pikachu drops Golisopod, and Guzma's whole mask of undefeated boss shatters on the floor. The finals arrive. Oak and Ash's mom pull up for moral support. Meltan evolves into a walking tank, and the stadium erupts. Ash versus Gladion, Destiny versus Pride. Melmetal smashes, but fumbles. Pikachu pulls off aerial gymnastics, slingshots himself with Electro Web, and knocks out Silvally. Gladion reveals his ace Zoroark in disguise, hitting Pikachu like a prizefighter. The clash peaks in a Z-move collision. Gladion's never-ending nightmare versus Ash's breakneck blitz. The blast clears, and both Pokémon are down. Lycanroc squared off against Lycanroc, older brother against younger, mirror against mirror. Every strike felt like it carried 20 years of Ash's near misses. They tore into each other, claws and fangs flashing, fists crashing like heavyweight boxers trading haymakers. One gut punch left Ash's Lycanroc staggering, but he shook it off and fired back with a blitz of pure speed, almost too fast to see. For a second it looked like confusion would be his downfall. Snapping at shadows, biting into his own hide like a berserker on the edge of madness. Ash leaned forward, heart in his throat, knowing this could be the collapse that forced him back to square one. But then came the turning point. Ash's Lycanroc locked eyes, steadied his breath, and charged. The stadium went silent as both wolves collided jaw to jaw. The dust cleared. Ash's Lycanroc stood tall. Against all odds, he beat the doubts, the whispers, the weight of failure. Ash had finally done it. He was champion. After decades of heartbreak, the kid from Pallet Town climbed his mountain. And just when the celebrations began, the sky ripped apart. A monstrous Guzzlord dropped from the void, shrieking like an alien nightmare. In English, he sounded like the apocalypse. In Japanese, like a drunk giant stumbling through the wrong dimension. And because one wasn't enough, more tore through the sky. The league wasn't just about glory anymore. It was survival. Guardians, trainers, legends, all of them channeled their Z-moves together. Beam after beam lit the night like a meteor storm, forcing the beasts back into the wormholes. Sitting through that barrage was like enduring the longest Power Rangers morph sequence ever filmed. Painful patience rewarded by sheer spectacle. Peace returned briefly. Poipole made his grand return, and the mask hiding Kukui's secret persona finally fell. Burnett's glare could have melted steel. She looked like someone had just locked her in a room with Michael B. Jordan, Chris Hemsworth, and Tom Holland in butler uniforms. The air was thick with tension, and all that was left was the exhibition match. Ash versus his mentor. They led with fire. Torracat roared into Incineroar, a furnace against a wildfire. At first it was the same move over and over, flame charge on repeat. But each attempt came with sharper precision, tighter circles, smarter execution. Still, Incineroar was a monster, eating flames like breakfast. Blast Burn lit the stage, PTSD for anyone who remembered past losses, but Torracat didn't flinch. He swallowed the heat, pushed through, and struck back. It was a slugfest, claw for claw, fire for fire. The fight escalated across teams. Lycanroc sliced Braviary out of the sky like a swordsman. Rowlet rained arrows with sniper precision, then nearly got swallowed whole by Venusaur's flower before clawing free. Melton finally earned respect by stonewalling Empoleon's attacks like an iron fortress. Every matchup felt like chapters in a war epic, but the audience held their breath for the rematch. Torracat versus Incineroar. The collision was biblical. Fire Fong against iron grips, combos traded like boxers locked in the clinch. Torracat hit a new threshold, his body igniting in magma flames, his roar shaking the arena. Incineroar answered in kind, transforming the battlefield into a furnace. Their Z-moves clashed, Inferno Overdrive against Inferno Overdrive, turning the stadium into an apocalyptic dust cloud. When the smoke thinned, Incineroar collapsed. Torracat, battered but unbroken, evolved on the spot into his fully realized form. The crowd lost their minds. Ash had raised a champion before their eyes. But the battle wasn't done. Tapu Koko descended from the heavens itself, smacking Kukui's pokeball aside like it wasn't even worthy. The Guardian of the Islands demanded to face Ash, and Pikachu stepped up. What followed was pure cinematic madness. Z-moves crackled, crystals glowed, and it felt less like a battle and more like gods testing each other's resolve. Pikachu, draped in Ash's cap like the mantle of destiny, tapped into every ounce of willpower. Quick attacks blurred, electro webs exploded, and finally, the son of Arceus himself unleashed his full storm. Tapu Koko fell. Pikachu stood victorious. And just like that, history was made. Ash Ketchum, the boy who once tripped over his own beginnings, stood as Alola's first champion. The world had laughed, doubted, pitted. But on that stage, under that sun, with Pikachu at his side, he silenced everything. The long road, the heartbreak, the memes about never winning, it ended here. After 2 decades, Ash didn't just compete. He conquered. Do you believe this was Ash's greatest victory? Which battle in the Alola League left you breathless? Was it Rowlet's impossible comeback, Guzma's collapse, or the God-tier clash with Tapu Koko? Share your thoughts in the comments so we can settle the debate together. And make sure you subscribe for more untold stories of Pokémon history.